Everybody, and welcome to week 16 of lockdown 3. I hope you're all still well. So we have 4 weeks left now until we are back in class. Hooray! Can't wait to get back. So I have spoken to all of my halls, and basically they are all ready for us to start back again. So I will probably go down and just check that everything's okay before we come back in for all our venues, and then I'll probably just send you the code of conduct for class for when you come back, because we'll still be doing the social distancing and so on for a while, but you know, I'm sure we're all fine with that. It's basically just what we were doing before this last lockdown. So this hopefully is our very last lockdown, and I think you should all have had the texts to say that what I'm planning on doing when we get back into class on the weeks that you don't come into class, if I've split the class in half and you're coming in one week and not the next, is for the in-between week to have a mini YouTube session for you, a new one every week, and to do my Zoom sessions on a Thursday night. So obviously when we're back into class, I will be, I'll be teaching my classes. So I've got limited time really, in addition to actually going out there and teaching the classes, as to when I can, do any recording of YouTube classes and Zoom. So my free night really is a Thursday night, and I'm really sorry if that doesn't work out for everyone, but it's the only way I can do it really. So I'm hoping if you can't make Zoom, then you can get into the mini sessions. So I'm not going to record full-length classes, YouTube classes, once we are back in class. So there are lots and lots of those classes up there for you. There's basically over a year's worth of classes up there on YouTube if you wanted to do a full-length class. So I'm hoping that works out for everyone until we can get back to normal. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'm sure we'll all be absolutely fine. So yeah, counting down the weeks really, counting down the days to when we can be back, and I just can't wait to see you all again in person, and to just be in class and be able to see you all properly and check on you and so on. So anyway, have a great week, and still let me know how you're getting on. I'd still really like to hear from you as to how you're getting on. So I think that's it from me. Enjoy your class, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now. Everybody, and welcome to your intermediate Pilates class. Please make sure you've got all your equipment ready, and we'll get started. So standing tall, your legs and your feet hip distance, hip sockets down to your feet, and just checking there that your toes are pointing forward. So please do have a look down, check on exactly where your feet are, and make sure they're not turning out to the side. So your toes are forwards, and you know then that your hips are in the right place. We're relaxing your shoulders, and we're starting with focus on breath, and just closing your eyes to help you focus. If you prefer, taking your hands, wrapping them around the base of your ribcage so that you can feel for your breath. We're taking a deep breath in through your nose, blowing out through your mouth. And again, deep breath in through your nose, blowing out through your mouth. So we're just taking some time here to settle into Pilates breathing. Remembering we're not working with normal breathing. So working with these wide, full breaths to get the oxygen around your body into your muscles so that they can move and work in the right way. As you're breathing, we'll make your connection now into your deep lying abdominals. Starting the contraction through the pelvic floor, we're taking a breath in. As you breathe out, so drawing up on your pelvic floor, bringing your connection then up into the deep lying abdominals, feeling you're engaging into that whole corset of muscle wrapping around you, and those muscles then connecting directly into your spine. And this is why they are so important for your spine and your lower back. So making sure you're working with those muscles in your day to day, walking, standing, sitting, checking that you have got them switched on. So maintain that hold, we're staying with your breath. Ready then to check through your posture. We're starting with your head and your neck. Always, always feeling your way into your neck posture. So you need to feel for that stretch at the back of your neck. You're feeling for the lengthening up from your crown. Your chin needs to be parallel with the floor, and invariably your chin needs to be lower than you think it needs to be. We're now gently lifting your shoulders up towards your ears. We're then rolling your shoulders back. We're sliding your shoulder blades down your back and holding them there. So checking now, can you really feel that connection into your mid-back? And remember, you do need to be feeling for what's happening in your body for your day-to-day posture. So make sure you can feel the joints down the shoulder blades. We'll take your chest stretch now, so arms go behind your back, interlacing your fingers. Make sure you've got your ribcage drawn right down. So with your ribcage drawn down, go ahead then and draw your shoulders back now, as far as you can. And remember, we all tend to be tight to some degree over the fronts of the shoulders, so important we're taking a regular stretch into this area. That your last one, releasing your arms, and that's where you need to be on your shoulder girder posture. So just check through now, feel for what's happening. Make sure you've got the joints down of the rib cage, the joints down of your shoulder blades, and it's just that check for where your hands are, little fingers running down the seams of your trousers, and you know then that your shoulders are in the right place. We're now checking on the curve to your lower back, settling into a neutral spine. We're taking a tilt of your pelvis forward, we're then tilting back, and from there we're settling into the centre. Remembering if your tendency is to arch your lower back, you will need to exaggerate your tuck under, and it does need to feel really exaggerated. We're now working down to your legs, remembering to take that softness through the knees. So checking out, are you locking out your knees? If you are, you're locking out your lower back as well. So always keeping the softness through the knees. You're working down to your feet and checking there, is your body weight equal into both legs and feet? So really feel your weight now underneath your feet. Are you equally balanced? We'll take your gentle sway from side to side. So just feel your weight shifting from one foot to the other. We're slowly then coming to settle back into the centre, and once you're there, again just check your weight into your feet. Are you equally balanced? We're going back to the hook attached to your crown. So imagine you're being pulled and pulled and pulled up by the hook. So you're just feeling yourself getting taller and taller, and remembering you can't get too tall. We're constantly working on lengthening out your spine, always being as tall as you can be. So maintaining your posture, just focusing back now on your Pilates breathing, still engaging into the deep lying abdominals, and we take some movement around your shoulders. So on your next breath in, bring your shoulders up towards your ears. Blowing out, rolling your shoulders, shoulder blades down your back, and continuing with your movement. So working in out your own pace, working with your breath, gradually increasing that range as you go. So making the movement a bit wider each time, aiming eventually to take both arms up over your head and to continue around from there. And feel that you are really stretching right up through your arms, your hands, your fingers, your fingertips, keeping that stretch, that reach going all the way through. And it is important that we are all maintaining a good range of movement around all our joints. When you're ready to, you're now going to move this into balance. So opening your eyes, fixing your gaze. It's a bend through the knees. Breathe in and sweeping the arms up, gently lifting the heels. Breathe out, drawing the shoulders back, taking the heels down. So we're going to continue there, working at your own pace. Try and stabilise through the big toes. Try not to roll onto the outside of your feet. So just noticing now, where is your weight into your feet? So we are mobilising the ankles, the feet, the toes here as well. this one, your last one. Back to your start position, shaking it all out. Going back to your chest stretch, arms behind you, back interlacing the fingers. Keep the shoulders where they are, releasing your hands, and ready now to move on to your neck. So we're mobilising these few vertebrae in your neck. When you're ready, taking your breath in. So you breathe out, we're nodding the chin down towards your chest. Holding here to breathe in. You should 2 movements now in one. So you breathe out, you need to push into the back of your neck with the pull up from the crown. So we're going to stay here to take a few of these movements. And what we're aiming to do here is to stack those vertebrae directly one over the next and to create some space between those vertebrae. And if you do tend to be stiff into your neck, please try and do these exercises 2 to 3 times a day to really just help get that mobility. We'll make this one now your last one. So slowly back up, shoulders relaxed. Today we're going to take a rotation now for the neck, making sure your shoulders stay facing forwards. So remember, if you don't have enough rotational movement into the vertebrae in your neck, when you're turning your head so you can see what's going on here, you will tend to rotate the upper mid back so that you can see what you want to see. So be really aware about how you're moving. Try and get this movement, this rotational movement from your neck, even if it means at the moment that you can't get around very far. So shoulders facing forwards and hips facing forwards. Taking your breath in, check your chin's parallel with the floor. And as you breathe out, slowly, carefully turn your head to your left. So are your shoulders still facing forwards? When you get to your furthest point, try and ease that right shoulder back. Breathe in, come into centre. Breathing out to the other side. So is there a difference from one side to the other? Just easing that left shoulder back. Slowly back to centre. We're going to do a couple more to each side. So there will be many times in your day where you're going to be turning your neck, turning your head. If you're in the car as well, you're reversing and you need to see what's going on behind you. It's really, really important that these vertebrae, the muscles around them, are prepared for that rotational movement. That your last one, you're back to centre, rolling your shoulders round, back to chest stretch, so just reset your posture and ready now for your roll down. So if you haven't done your flat back yet, please pause me now, go do your flat back, give your spine that stretch out, and then when you're ready, coming into the roll down. So coming to the end of your mat, and before you start moving, please just focus now on the muscles that you're going to be using, i.e. your abdominals, and you really need to think about scooping in, not just the lower, but the mid and the upper abdominals as well. So this is literally all the way from the pubic bone to the base of your rib cage. So really, really focusing on pulling in the mid and the upper as well as the lower abdominals. So full pelvic tilt, a breath in. So you breathe out, we're nodding the chin. Slowly rolling your head down the front of your body, staying really close into yourself. Arms in your head just hanging, just drop it down to the floor. Holding at your furthest point to breathe in. Really hard work on the abdominals. So you breathe out, you need to push your hips forward, push your knees forward and make sure you get that rolling through the lower back. Abdominals are working really hard. Lower, mid, upper abdominals. Shoulders, then your neck, then your head. Back up to standing, we're doing the same thing again. So full pelvic tilt, breath in as you breathe out, nodding the chin, slowly rolling down. Check your weight into your feet, are you equally balanced? So this time when you come back up, make sure your lower back stays moving, work really hard in the abdominals. And again, by the time you get back up to standing, it should feel like you've worked all of your abdominal muscles really hard. We're going to make this one your last one. So this time we're rolling down, we're just staying there, we're just hanging the spine. And whilst you do that, I'm just going to adjust my camera. So for all of you coming into my Zoom sessions on Wednesday, I'm really loving your camera angles, and it does make a real difference if you can get your camera angles right. And please, I would encourage you to adjust your camera angles as we go so I can get the best view of you. I'm course in 4 weeks I will be there with you and I'll be able to check you properly in person, which will be really, really good. So a gentle turn your head side to side, checking that your neck is relaxed and then allowing your head to just hang down to the floor. And please bring over your blue block now if you need some height. We're going to move this into sways. So we're gently swaying forward into your toes, back into your heels and just gently there, forwards and back. And a really nice posture this for the spine. So really try and visualise your vertebra opening out. This one, your last one. Back to your start position. So keeping your chin tucked in, we're going to walk your hands forward now to your mat. Knees are coming down one at a time. So check your setup once you're there. Wrists under shoulders, your knees under your hips. So if you know that you are tight over the front of your hips, you might want to take some hip mobility. You might even want to take the warrior stretch or standing hip flexor quad stretch. Wrists under shoulders, your knees under your hips. So check your shoulders are down, away from your ears. Draw your shoulder blades down, your back. We're into downward dog now. So breathe in, tucking the toes under. As you breathe out, or pushing up with the hips, so just hanging down to the floor. Taking your feet a little bit further back, and now bringing a real deep bend into your knees. So really draw your knees towards your chest. Draw your chest towards your knees, and with your knees very bent, your challenge here is to see how high you can push your hips up towards the ceiling. So to start with, really working on stretching, on lengthening out your spine. When you feel you're at your highest, your furthest point, try and ease your hips up even higher again, really creating that space between your vertebrae. So ready to move on, up to toes, so take your feet a few inches further back, drawing up on your pelvic floor, ready now for foot pedals. Breath in as you breathe out, a bend through the right knee, the left heel goes down. Breathing up to toes, breathing out to change. So starting this pedaling movement through the ankles and the feet, and as you're in the heel down towards the floor, you draw your head towards that midpoint between your feet. So you still get the stretch into your spine. So we do generally tend to be tight into the calves. So important we're getting a regular stretch into this area. This one on your last one. So we'll finish off with a bend through your left knee. Breathing up to your toes, your heels are lifted. Without lowering your heels out, easing your hips up towards the ceiling. So the stretch on the hamstrings goes upwards. Breath in, breathe out, taking the heels down. And again, breathe in, up to toes, heels are lifted. Breathe out, easing the hips up. Breath in, breathe out, taking the heels down. We've got one more. So we're going to move on now to our lizard posture. So you're up to toes and we're going to bring the right leg forward to start with. So up to fingertips if you can, or if you can't, please just try and take the hands a bit further forward. So taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, step forward to the right foot, and you're lining that foot up along the outer edge of your mat. The back knee comes down. We're going to flatten off the hands, and please just try to get that back knee as far back as you can to really just to help open up the hip on this side as well. So we're just breathing into this stretch, a deep breath in, blowing out. So make sure you've got your neck in good alignment here as well. So just thinking about relaxing off your legs, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just try to relax your legs, they're not going anywhere. So try and relax your legs. Notice if you are holding any tension in the thighs, the hamstrings, the glutes. So just allow these muscles to stretch. If you are ready to move on, we're going to lower down now to the forearms. Still breathing into the stretch. And if you want to, if it works for you, then just taking your right hand onto the inside of the right knee and just using that hand to just help ease the hip open. If it doesn't work for you, that's absolutely fine. So any discomfort into the lower back, for example, please just hold it still. If you're ready to move on, we're going to come back to hands to the mat. Tuck the toes under on the back leg. Breath in, and as you breathe out, lift up and hold. Really squeeze that left glute now as strong as you can. Try and tuck your tail under. Scoop lower abs into your spine. So really trying to get some stretch over the front of this left hip. That'll be your last one. Bringing the knee down to the mat. We're keeping the toes tucking under on that back leg. I'm ready to push back to downward dog, and it's really easy. You don't need to think about having to use lots of energy now to get back to downward dog. It's really easy. So breath in, and as you breathe out, you're just going to lift up that knee and slide the right foot back. It's really that easy. Hip distance on the feet. Breathe in to come up to toes. Breathe out, taking your heels down. Breathing up to toes. Breathe out, taking the heels down. We've got one more. So up to toes. So ready now with your left leg to come forward. Up to fingertips if you can. Breath in as you breathe out. Step forward with the left foot. Right knee comes down. Flasting off the foot at the back. And again, really try and get that back knee as far back as you can to really help get the stretch over the front of that hip. So we're just holding it here, and again, just line that foot up at the outer edge of your mat. Check in on your shoulders, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, just relax off both legs. Notice whether you are holding tension into the thighs, the glutes, the hamstrings, your feet. So you're nice and stable in this posture, you're not going to go anywhere, so you can relax off your legs, relax off the muscles in your legs. And just try and get that squeeze on that back glute. If you're ready, we're going to lower down to the forearms. If you're not ready to do this, that's absolutely fine. So breathing into the stretch. Make sure that you're not starting to come over to your left side. So where is your weight? And if you're ready to, just come back up to hands to the mat and left hand, if you're ready to, onto the inside of the left knee, easing the hip out, bring it back in, and again, easing it out. You're just kind of coaxing the hip open. Again, only if that works for you. So if you're ready to, back to the hands, toes under back leg. Breath in as you breathe out, push up and hold it. Check in with the shoulders, make sure you're not hunching up towards your ears. Squeeze that right glute now as strong as you can. Tuck your tail under, really work with the abdominals. So ready then to go back to downward dog. Just bring that knee down. If you're ready, breath in as you breathe out. Push up, slide the foot back, hip distance on the feet. Breathing up to your toes. Breathe out, taking the heels down. And again, breathing up to toes. Breathe out, take your heels down. This time come up to your toes, lifting your right leg. So today we're going to bring it through. Drawing your head to your knee and slight flexion here through your spine. If you're not sure, please come down and have a look. Breath in as you breathe out. Bring the knee forward, draw the head to the knee. Body weight comes forward. Breath in as you breathe out. Push right back up and stretch. And now bend through that right knee. Ready to turn the hip out. So turn your hip out to your right. Push the right knee up towards the ceiling. If you can, pull back a bit further, push up a bit further. Focus on easing that knee up towards the ceiling. Nice stretch here into lats. Slowly now bring your pelvis back, re-extend the leg, foot comes down. Both heels down for downward dog. Breathing up to toes, lifting your left leg now, ready to bring it through. Breath in as you breathe out, bring the leg through, bend the knee. I'm disappearing, I think. Join the head towards the knee. Bring weight forward. Breath in as you breathe out, push right up. Squeeze that glute, bend in that right knee. Turn your right hip out to your right. Ease that knee up towards the ceiling. Try and pull back a bit further. Push it up a bit further as well. Really get that stretch. Slowly bring your pelvis back. Re-extend the leg. Running out of space. Foot comes down. Both heels down. If you're ready, we'll go for a plank. Up to toes as you breathe out. Body weight forwards over the arms. Push down through the heels. So just aim to hold it here now for 5 full Pilates breaths. Strong line from the crown of your head to your heels. Checking through your areas of connection. It's mid-back, mid-section, which is pelvic floor. Glutes to 100% contraction, quads to 100% contraction. And this really is your opportunity to build that strength into your body. This on your last breath. And pushing back then to downward dog, draw your head towards your feet. Breathe in up to toes as you breathe out, body forwards over the arms. Bending the knees and slowly lowering down, well done. Right back onto your heels, stretching the arms out. Releasing your wrists down, your palms up, your palms down. And please take all the time you need now to do whatever you feel you need to do to release your hands, your wrists, your fingers after that last movement. So you might feel that you want to rotate your wrists, you might want to massage your hands, massage your wrists. Whatever you feel you need to do, then please just do that. So it might feel quite heavy into your wrist, but remember your weight bearing benefits there for your upper body. So weight bearing is so important for us all, particularly as we get older. Really, really important for bone density, that we're taking that weight bearing and ideally some weight lifting as well. So when you're ready, your palms back to the mat, ready to release the shoulders. Bring your arms around, your fingers touching the heels, and now just allowing your arms to relax to your sides with your palms up. You might want some head support here. So stretching out the wrists, we're taking a breath in. As you breathe out, curl the palms up towards your head. Breathe in to release. And again, breathe out, curl the palms up. Breathe in to release. So same here to take 2 more. Really good stretch for your wrists. That'll be your last one. Relaxing your arms, relaxing your wrists. Now we're taking the arms out a little bit wider. And we're just taking some time now to relax into the posture. We'll just take a few breaths here. A deep breath in. Blowing out. So as you're breathing, we're checking that your shoulders are completely relaxed. If your shoulders don't feel completely relaxed in that position, please adjust the placement of your arms until they do. We're checking out for any remaining areas of tension. So just scanning from your head to your feet. And if you're finding any, then just allowing those areas to relax. So remembering to take your body scan in your day-to-day, scanning from your head to your feet, checking for any areas of tension. So if you find any, just going ahead and releasing that tension before it starts to build up in your body. Ready now to stretch out your chest, your shoulders. Take your arms behind your back when placing your fingers. Rolling right up onto the top of your head, stretching your arms up. So eventually there for straight arms. Then your last one, releasing your arms, bringing the arms around, so pushing back up to all fours. And we take a little bit of time now to focus on the spine. So check you've got your setup, wrists under shoulders, your knees under your hips. Checking with your shoulders, where are they? So down and away from your ears. Drawing your shoulder blades down your back. You need to feel for the placement of your neck. So feel for that stretch at the back, lengthening up from the crown, slight tuck in of your chin. And we're going to start off now with your lumbar movement. Please make sure it's small. So when you're ready, get your breath in to prepare. As you breathe out using your lower abdominals, you're just pulling your tail forwards and breathing in to go back to neutral spine. And again, breathe out to pull your tail forwards. Breathe in to go back to neutral spine. So we're going to stay here to take a few of these movements, working at your own pace. So make sure you're not moving into your mid-back just yet. And this is particularly important for you if you know that you tend to be stiff into your lower back and or your postural tendencies to arch your lower back. So remembering, if that's you, your lumbar vertebrae are held in extension and compression for most of the time. So really, really important you're taking some time to just stretch out the muscles around these vertebrae and to really encourage that mobility. So once you're sure you've got your lower back moving, up then into the rest of the spine. And remember, if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis, then please don't push up into the mid-back. So when you're ready, breath in. As you breathe out, you're pulling the tail forward, you're drawing the head towards the tail. So drawing the two now closer and closer in towards each other. Make sure you've drawn your head as close to the tail as you can before you move on. Holding here to breathe in. As you breathe out, you're sitting back towards your heels, stretching out your back head, just hanging to the floor. Breath in. As you breathe out, you slowly back up, so keeping that scooping in. Breath in. As you breathe out, you're lowering down, you're pushing through the tail. Head back into line with the spine, shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades engaged. We're doing the same thing again from the base of your spine. Breath in. As you breathe out, pulling the tail forward, drawing the head towards the tail. And again, drawing the two closer and closer in towards each other. Breath in. As you breathe out, sitting back towards your heels. Stretching out your back head, just hanging to the floor. Breath in. As you breathe out, you slowly back up, so keeping that scooping in. Breath in. As you breathe out, lowering down, pushing through the tail. Head back into line with the spine, shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades engaged, and we're staying here. So from here now, we're going to come into sitting. So taking some stretch on the inner thighs to start with, and you might prefer to pop up onto your block. And I know a few of my guys have 2 blocks, so of course if you need the 2, then please sit up onto your 2 blocks. So it soles the feet together, your knees out to the side. If you do prefer to do this one in standing, by the way, the one we did last week, working with the width of the mat, you're in standing, you hang your upper body down, your line of vision is behind you. It's just another way to stretch out the inner thighs. So please draw the heels as close into you as you can. Hands then taking a hold of the feet. Take a deep breath in, lift up your breastbone, try and extend the spine. And as you breathe out, easing your knees down towards the floor. Holding here, just breathing into the stretch. A deep breath in. Blowing out. So working here to help open out the hips again. Should be feeling the stretch on your inner thighs. And if you're not feeling the stretch there, and I know a couple of you at least may not be feeling this stretch, in which case please come to here and then inching forward to increase that stretch. So please come into that if you need to. That's your last one. So just releasing now. We're going to move on. So stretching out your left leg, and this right foot up as high on that thigh as you can. So check that your hips are facing forwards, and just check on this leg. So make sure the foot isn't doing this. So straight line hip, knee, ankle, big toe, so that you're in correct alignment all the way through. So we are working here on stretching out the hamstring, the muscle down the back of the thigh. We're still working on stretching the inner thigh, and we're aiming to help open out this right hip. Please, as always, listen to your body, feel for what's happening. Make sure you don't force anything, any stretches, any movements. So hands either side of this straight leg. Breath in as you breathe out. We're just going to inch forward, keeping your chin tucked in. And as you're doing that, think about easing that right knee down towards the floor. And you're aiming for the knee to be more or less on the floor. So being careful not to force anything. And I know a few of my guys, you are tight into your hamstrings. So you might want to take a bit of a bend now through that knee. And that's absolutely fine. If you're ready to, we're going to take a hold of that foot. Don't know what's happened to my music. Oh, there we go. So if you're ready to, we're going to take your right hand and place it onto the outside of that left foot. You might already start to feel a stretch into the lats here on your right. We're taking the left arm out to the side, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, just following this hand, you're going to walk that hand around. So you will be rotating the spine, at the same time easing that left foot away. If it causes you any problems for your back, please just come back. That'll be last one. Breath in, as you breathe out, walk the hand back. Come back to holding the foot if you're there. Bring the forehead to the shin. Still easing that right knee down towards the floor. It's a really good stretch this one. Just going to go sideways on so you can see it sideways on as well. And ready then to release. So hands either side of that leg. Breath in, and as you breathe out, slowly, slowly walking back up, back to sitting. So we're going to change over now, drawing this left leg in, stretching out the right leg, up tall, and making sure the hips are staying facing forwards. Check on this foot, make sure it's not turning out to the side. So hands go either side of that leg, easing this hip down. If you want to, you can actually place the hand onto the inside of the knee, just as we did with the lizard posture, to just help encourage that opening out. You might also be finding a difference from one side to the other. If you're ready, breath in, as you breathe out, we're just going to inch forward. So still easing that left knee down towards the floor. So please go at your own pace and only progressing when you really feel that you're ready to. We're aiming eventually to take a hold of your foot. Still easing that knee down towards the floor. So I feel that I do want to do this on this side because I'm a bit tighter on this side. So on the other side, the knee just went out absolutely fine. But you can see I'm a little bit lifted here. So I'm just trying to ease that open a little bit more. So up to you if you want to try that. So if you're ready to now, the left hand onto the outside of that right foot, right arm goes out to the side. Take your breath in, and as you breathe out, walk that right hand around. You're following the hand. So go around as far as your spine wants to go. You're easing that right foot away. That's your last one, and slowly then come back. Your last one, hands either side of that leg, breath in, and as you breathe out, push into your back slowly and curl your spine. Well done. We're going to move now straight into seated hip stretch. You will probably find the difference when you go into this stretch from doing the stretch after those stretches that we've done to doing them without. And if you need to get rid of your blocks, obviously please take them away. You might still need them, or you might just need one if you've been on two. So whatever works for you. Hands are onto the knees, take your breath in. As you breathe out, nodding the chin, slowly rolling down. Finding your place in the stretch. So are you further into this stretch now than you would be ordinarily without taking those stretches previous to this stretch? You're ready to move on. Breath in as you breathe out, bring your hands to your mat. Head's just hanging to the floor. So this feels so much easier for me now after doing those stretches. How does it feel for you? If you're ready, we're going to lower down to your forearms. And remember, if you're not ready to come down to the forearms, you can bring out your block and use that as a kind of halfway progression, placing your forearms onto the block. If you're ready from there, we're going to stretch the arms out, walking the fingers away from you, pushing the backs of your hips down towards the floor. Really try and walk the fingers away as far as you can. That'll be the last one. Breath in as you breathe out. Slowly walk the hands into you, push into your back, uncurling your spine, back to sitting, changing legs. So your left in front of your right, hands to your knees. Breath in as you breathe out, nodding the chin, slowly rolling down. You ready to move on? The hands come to the mat. So this is an excellent stretch for your lower back, for the backs of your hips. You ready to come down to the forearms. Your next progression, walking the hands away. Really walk the arms, hands, fingers, fingertips away from you. Pushing the backs of the hips down towards the floor. That'll be the last one. Breath in as you breathe out. Slowly walk the hands into you. Pushing into your back, uncurling your spine, your back up to sitting. We're going to move on now to take a seated lat stretch. So right hand goes down on your mat, your left arm goes up. Remember, we're going directly over to the side. So take a deep breath in and lift and lengthen your spine. And as you breathe out, up and over into that stretch, head just goes. Reach the fingers away, push the hip down towards the floor. Watch out for that right shoulder. If you're ready, let's take a bend through that elbow. And if you're ready to from here, and I usually do say, try not to do this, but you do get some quite nice rotation if you do it. So just basically ease the upper body around now to get some stretch. Here, to lats. That's your last one. Slowly come back, and then coming back to your start position, right arm goes up. Take a deep breath in to stretch. As you breathe out, go up and over. So make sure that right hip is anchored down into the mat or into your block. Head just goes. Watch out for the left elbow. A bend then through that elbow. And if you're ready to, just turning now, rotating. If you're looking down towards the floor, still easing the right hip down. So coming back, extending the arm, and back then to your start position. Well done. Roll the shoulders round. So coming off your block now, actually I'm thinking if you are on a block, you might need to stay on it to start with. So we haven't done this one for a while. We're basically working on the deep spine extensors and on your core. So hands either side of you. You're drawing your shoulder blades down your back, drawing up on pelvic floor into your deep lying abdominals. So this is where you are at your first level. You might even prefer to close your eyes. You do need to get this just right. And remember, it's all about those deep lying stabilising muscles. If you're ready to move on, and by moving on, this does get very, very strong into core. So if you can't maintain the hold on your core, please come back to here. You can go into your dart as well if you prefer. But remember, it's really important that you're not straining your core muscles. You will feel this, or you may well feel this into hip flexors as well. It's a static contraction into them. So if you're tight into hip flexors, then they might be complaining a bit. So engage in the midsection. It doesn't matter how far you go back now. The main thing is that you maintain an upright spine. You don't want to do this. So when you're ready, if you're ready, lifting one leg, lifting the other leg. So we're here. So focus on your core, make sure you've got a hold of those muscles. And if you're ready, hands are going underneath the knees like so. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Keep working with your core, make sure you've got the placement through the neck. And how does that feel for you? So this is where we're starting. That'll be your last one. Bring your feet to the floor one at a time. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, we go into spine release. So we are going to go into progression, if you're ready to. So when you're ready, back up to sitting, and take your time to layer up the movement. Placing the hands, draw your shoulder blades down your back, engage your core. Breath in as you breathe out, lifting one leg, lifting the other leg. Hands underneath the knees like so. If you're ready to now, I'm going to take some movement through the arms. I'm just going to try and turn more sideways onto you. So moving with the arms, and just watch out here for the more superficial abs coming in. So when you're ready, if you're ready, breath in as you breathe out. You're lifting the right arm. Breathe in to bring it back. Breathe out to change. So is your spine staying upright? So we're going to stay here to take a few. Think about keeping the ribs drawn down. Although being careful that you're not starting to do that and come into a flexed position on your spine. So lifting up the breastbone. So how does that feel? This one, your last one. Feet down one at a time, soles of feet together, knees out to the side. Just relaxing into that posture. So we've got one more progression on this one. Again, if you're ready to. So back up to sitting. Take your time to get your set up, engaging the core. Lifting one leg, lifting the other leg. Hands underneath the knees. So either please stay with your alternate arms, or we're going for both arms now. So make sure the core is engaged throughout. Breath in as you breathe out, lifting both arms. Breathe in to bring them back. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in to bring them back. So please focus right in on exactly what's happening. If there's any shaking of the abdominals, that's the more superficial abs coming in to help out. So please go back to alternate arms if that's you. We'll try and go for 2 more. This one, your last one. Feet to the floor, one at a time, well done. Into that release. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. And up then to sitting. Feet on the floor with your knees bent. We're going to come into lying down. And please make sure you've got your squashy ball handy to your side. If your back doesn't feel ready to roll down, please do the usual, turn onto your side, lie your side, then onto your back. If you need any head support, make sure it's up there ready. So it's up to you whether you're rolling down with legs extended or knees bent. And if you felt that the hip flexors were really working hard there, then we will be taking some release on them when we get down to the floor. So arms parallel, small tilt. Breath in as you breathe out, you're slowly rolling down. So slowly, spine goes down, head goes down. Once you're there, arms up over your head. Stretching your legs out in front, so your full body stretch. Reaching the fingers away, reaching your toes away. So just taking some time now to relax into this posture. So you may already be feeling some stretch here on your hip flexors. So taking a few breaths. So just allow the lower back to arch up a little bit higher into passive extension if that's comfortable for you. If it doesn't feel very comfortable, please engage your core. Slide the heels into you one at a time. So your feet on the floor, your knees are bent. As you're breathing, we're just allowing the ribcage to open out. Allowing your abdominals to relax. Relaxing off your midsection. When you feel that that's relaxed, try and relax it even further. You might need to find a different placement of your arms for you to feel more comfortable in that posture. So placing your arms wherever is most comfortable for you. We're now relaxing off your hips, relaxing off your legs. So just allow your legs to be relaxed and heavy. We're checking in for any remaining areas of tension from your head to your feet. And if you're finding any, you're just allowing those areas to relax. Before you start moving, re-engaging your core, slowly bring your arms down, sliding the heels into you one at a time. Now hugging one knee into your chest, followed by the other, rolling the knees in and back, and again, rolling the knees in and back. So a really nice stretch for your lower back. If you're ready, we'll take this to hamstring stretch. Hugging the knees in, stretching up your legs, ignore on calves or heels. Breath in as you breathe out, ease the legs in towards you and back. And again, ease the legs in and back. Obviously, if that feels too strong, please just stay with the bend to the knees. If you're ready, we're going to take this now to your plough posture. So arms are to your sides, your palms down. Sorry, I've got a hair clip in my hair that's sticking into my head. There we go. So arms to your sides, palms down. So breath in. As you breathe out, push down with your arms, push up with the hips. Feet on the floor behind you if you can. Always remembering not to force any movements. Holding there to breathe in. And as you breathe out, very slowly, carefully, one vertebra at a time, control the whole movement through your abdominals, back to your start position. And if you feel that you're wanting to do more of them, please go ahead and do that. Just pause the film for a while whilst you do that, and then come back when you're ready. Bending the knees, bringing your feet to the floor one at a time. Rotational movement now, arms out wide to the sides, ankles and knees together. Breath in as as you breathe out, please go over to your right, you're turning your head to your left. Breath in as you breathe out, bring legs, spine, head back to centre. Breath in, breathe out, so over to the other side. Breath in as you breathe out, bring legs, spine, head back to centre. And I'm sliding your arms down by your sides. It's hip distance on the legs and the feet. And make sure you've got that central position for your spine. So a straight line from the base of your skull to the base of your spine. Check your body weight at either side of the spine, down to your legs and your feet. So we're going to take this down to a pelvic tilt, and you really need to focus on your glutes. You'll get a stretch over the hip flexors as you do this as well. And this is such a good movement for you if you're overarching to your lower back. It addresses the weakness in the glutes and the tightness of the hip flexors. So taking your breath in, and as you breathe out, press your lower back in, squeeze your glutes. Taking this down to a pelvic tilt, the lower back is still pressing into the mat. Sending the knees away from you in a straight line. Keep squeezing and squeezing your glutes. When you feel that you're squeezing them as strong as you can, try and squeeze them even stronger again. Push the tailbone right up towards the ceiling. When you get to your furthest point, we're holding there to breathe in. And as you breathe out, very slowly, carefully, one vertebra at a time. Feeling your 5 lumbar vertebrae back down to the mat. So really try and see in your head, try and feel into the mat that you're getting that separation. You back down to neutral. Once you're there, relaxing off your glutes. Going to bring this up to full ski slope position now. You work with head support that needs to come away. Hands onto the front of the hips, draw up on your pelvic floor. Breath in as you breathe out, press the lower back in, squeezing your glutes. Slowly peel the spine away. So right up into that ski slope position. Holding it here. Really feel that you're getting a strong contraction on glutes. Hold to breathe in. And as you breathe out, very slowly, carefully, imagine you're lying on wet sand and you're watching each of your vertebrae imprinting into the sand as you roll down, and really try and get that separation, that segmental control through the spine. Paying particular attention to lumbar vertebra, using the lower abdominals to help you get that separation. You're back down to neutral. Once you're there, relaxing off your glutes. Hugging one knee into the chest, followed by the other. Rolling the knees in and back. And again, rolling the knees in and back. Then your last one. Your feet to the floor one at a time. We're going to stay with your bridge. Hands onto the front of the hips, draw up on your pelvic floor. Breathe in. As you breathe out, press the lower back in, squeeze your glutes, slowly peel the spine away. Come right up into that ski slope position. And this time we're going to hold it there. Adding in the arms are lifted, fingers pointing towards the ceiling. Draw up high on your pelvic floor, taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, draw the knees in towards each other halfway. As you take your right arm up over your head, left arm down by your side. Breathe in to bring them back. Breathe out to change. So make sure as you draw your knees in that you don't drop your hips down. So as you're drawing your knees in, you need to think hips up, hips up, hips up. So work hard with the glutes to keep the hips lifted. Just nice and slow, working at your own pace. So the challenge here is to make sure that your hips don't drop down and that that movement through the arms doesn't pull your spine into a twist. So this one now, your last one. Back to your start position. We're going to take both arms up now over your head to the floor if you can. Interlace the fingers, index fingers are together, thumbs are crossed over at the front. So draw up as high as you can your pelvic floor. Breathe in to lower your hips down an inch. Breathe out, use your glutes to push the hips back up. Breathing in, lowering down an inch. Breathe out, using the glutes, pushing the hips back up. I'm going to stay here to take a good few of these movements. And how does that feel now on your glutes? So I'm hoping that you're feeling this is quite strong on your glutes, and it's so important that we all maintain this strength into gluteus maximus. So remember, the glutes need to work to help support the lower back along with the core, and it really isn't enough to just strengthen up your core to support the lower back. You need to have that strength into your glutes as well. They need to work together. So this one, your last one. So push right up with your hips, lifting the heels away from the floor now, and really push the hips right up towards the ceiling as high as you can. Hold it, keep breathing, hold it. Make sure you're not dropping the hips down at all. That's your last one. Heels then come down, and just scooch the feet a bit further away from you, one at a time. Ready to bring the spine down. So if you're not ready to bring the spine down with your arms over your head, please just bring your hands to your hip bones. Otherwise, just scooch the feet a bit further away from you, one at a time, to give you ample space to get a good stretch on your spine on the way down. Breath in as you breathe out very slowly, carefully, sending the hands away from you in the opposite direction. And this does give you a really good stretch all the way down your spine, into the backs of the shoulders, the backs of the arms. Paying particular attention to lumbar all the way back down. Well done. Slowly bring the arms down. Plugging one knee into your chest, followed by the other. Rolling the knees in and back, and again. Rolling the knees in and back. I'm going to take this now to glute stretch. Releasing your left foot to the floor, right foot over the left knee. So just easing that right hip open. Just easing that right knee away. If you're ready to, just ease both legs in now towards you, supporting with your arms and your hands, your right hand under your right knee, left hand supporting the right foot, shoulders relaxed, just breathing into your stretch. Using your left leg now to help ease the right leg even closer into you if you can. That'll be the last one, that foot to the floor followed by the other, changing over. Left foot over the right knee, and if you can, just ease that left knee away. If you're ready, we're going to ease the legs in towards you, supporting with the arms and the hands. So think about using your right leg to help ease the left leg even closer into you. And the last one, so you're taking that foot to the floor, followed by the other. So we're going to move on now to focus on core strength and core stability. Going back to that ski slope position, but this time we're aiming to work with your squashy ball underneath you. If you know it's not appropriate for you to work with the ball underneath you, please place it onto your abdomen instead. So having the ball handy to your side, hands onto the front of the hips, draw up on your pelvic floor. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, pressing the lower back in, squeezing your glutes. Slowly peeling the spine away. You're right up then into your ski slope position. We're going to lift the heels, roll the ball underneath you into the small of your back. Make sure it is in the small of your back and it's central. You then lower the heels down to the floor. That should be feeling comfortable for your lower back. And if it doesn't feel very comfortable, then please take the ball away, roll your spine down. Place the ball onto your abdomen instead. Place the ball, onto your abdomen instead, and work with it there. Okay, so hands come onto the front of the hips so that you can feel for what's happening, and this is all about stability. So you don't want any wobble with this movement. We're aiming to train these deep line stabilising muscles. So if there's a wobble, that basically means that your other muscles are coming in to help out. So maintaining your stability, even if it means that you need to stay at your first level. So of course you need to work with your core all the way through, draw up on pelvic floor, into deep lying abdominals, relax off your legs now. So check that your hamstrings are relaxed, check your glutes are relaxed. So draw up on your pelvic floor, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, slowly, carefully lifting your right right heel, lifting the toes, lifting your leg then to a 90-degree angle at the knee, holding here to breathe in. As you breathe out, carefully replacing the foot, toe first, rolling down to the heel, and taking all the time you need to very carefully change over to the other leg. So again, it's all about stability. You need to be really honest with yourself with these movements. If you're feeling a wobble there at that level, then please either slow your movement down or go to just a lift of your heel and down and change over. So it's important that your hands are onto the fronts of your hips, because if they're not there, basically it's virtually impossible for you to tell if there's any movement going on through your pelvis. So remember, we're always working for stable pelvis. Be careful as well that you're not working too quickly. Remember, it's always easy to do your movements quickly. So if you want to build more strength into your body, then you need to slow your movement right down. It's much more challenging to do your movements slowly than it is to do them quickly. So if you're ready to move on from there, if you're stable at that level, lifting the leg to 90 degrees, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, we start to stretch the leg out and down towards the floor, just as far as you can without any wobble. So you're aiming for, eventually, for a straight line from your hip down to your ankle, holding it there then to breathe in, and as you breathe out, very slowly, carefully, pulling the leg back in, replacing your foot. And the tricky part, the most challenging part, is that change over to the other leg. So of course it's important that we're working on spine stability, pelvic stability, really working to strengthen these muscles that do connect directly into the spine. If you're ready to move on again, this is where we take the arms away, and this does make your movement quite a bit more challenging. So if you're going for the crossover at the arms, we start off with just a lift of the leg to 90 degrees. See how you get on there. Obviously you don't know for sure now if there's any movement through your pelvis. It's difficult for you to tell. So really feel for what's happening underneath you. We would then move on to eventually stretching the leg out and down towards the floor, and slowly bringing it back in. So what you might want to do here, it's very challenging to work with this extension of the leg out and back. So it's challenging to extend the leg out. It's even more challenging to bring it back in again without any wobble. So what you might want to do there is to stretch the leg out and down in one breath. You might want to bring it back in 2 or even 3 breaths. So really focus right in on your midsection. I'm going to make this your last one. So really quite intense focus, intense work on these muscles that work to support and stabilise the spine. Finishing off on the left leg, releasing your arms. So just lift up your heels, rolling the ball out from underneath you, heels come down. And again, we'll take the arms up over your head now to give the spine a really nice stretch coming down. Scooch the feet a bit further away from you. Breath in as you breathe out, slowly, carefully, sending the hands away from you in the opposite direction. All the way back down to neutral. Once you're there, arms come down. Releasing one knee into the chest, followed by the other, rolling the knees in and back. And again, rolling the knees in and back. So feet to the floor one at a time. We're just going to take some rotation now to help release the spine after that last movement. And we'll combine it with the back of the hip stretch. You're lifting your right leg to 90 degrees. Left hand out to the outside of the right knee. Right arm out to the side, stretching out the left leg. Breath in as you breathe out, your left goes over to your left, you turn your head to your right. Breath in as you breathe out. Slowly along the spine, the leg, the head. Back to your start position, right foot to the floor, side of the left heel in. When you're ready, lifting the left leg, right hand onto the outside of the left knee, straightening out your right leg. Breath in as you breathe out, your leg goes over to your right, you're turning your head to your left. Breath in as you breathe out, slowly on the spine, the leg, the head, back to your start position. Left foot to the floor, side of the right heel in. Just coming up to check on our time. So from here, we're going to move on now to our side lying exercise. I was just wondering whether to bring you closer to me, but I think I'll stay here because it's probably quite good for you to get that view of me a bit further back actually. So you're already down on the floor, of course, so please turn onto your side. If you haven't done this one before, then please have a proper look at it first. So make sure you've got your elbow directly underneath the shoulder. Legs on this one are diagonals, so diagonal line, hip to the knee, knee to the ankle, and your heels in line with your bottom. So aligning the neck and just nice and relaxed there through the neck, and it doesn't matter where you're placing the right hand, left hand. So just make sure that this shoulder is placed. We're focusing on obliques and a muscle in the lower back called the quadratus lumborum. So please make sure that you've got your core engaged all the way through. So draw up on your pelvic floor, you're into deep lying abdominals, and it's that lift away of the mat, from the mat with your waist. Pull away, pull out of the shoulders, so make sure you're not allowing this. So pull out of the shoulders. Bless me. Pull out of the shoulders and watch out for this happening as you go. So drop on pelvic floor, into deep lying abdominals, lift your waist away. To start with, we're just holding it there, and hopefully you are ready to move on now. And it's up to you if you want to come to here with the arm or here. So if you're ready, breath in as you breathe out. It's called a hip hitch. Literally just hitching the hip up towards the ceiling, and then you're kissing that hip down towards the floor. Hip hitch, kissing it down towards the floor. Make sure you've got your core engaged all the way through. It will be working the shoulder. So you should expect to feel that you're working those muscles in your shoulder. You shouldn't though have any ill effects. So literally just a kiss of the hip down to the floor and pushing back up. We'll take two more. This one, your last one, hold it there. Try and take that arm up and over your head. And then slowly coming down, well done. So coming up into sitting, we'll just roll out that shoulder and do whatever you feel you need to do to help release the shoulder, the back of the shoulder stretch, tricep stretch, whatever you feel you need. You can go from that tricep stretch into a lat stretch as well, that works quite well. So releasing today, I am going to move on and take us into that side plank. So it's an extended arm. We're stretching your legs out. Hopefully you can see my feet. You might not be able to. See if I can move my sofa. No, I can't. So I really can't wait to get back into class so that you could just see everything properly and I can see you. So we're going to extend the legs, you're straightening out the legs, and it's an extended arm with the fingers pointing that way. So we're going to bring the top foot forward, so the foot's on the floor. Take your breath in, and as you breathe out, we're going to lift up to here and holding it. So really push the fingers right up towards the ceiling. You might be ready for this, you might not be. Feel for what's happening. So static contraction going on down the side of the body. That your last one, and slowly bringing it down. Well done. So please let me know how you got on with that one. Did you manage it? Were you working the right muscles, or was it a bit too strong? So please release your shoulders as you feel you need to. And ready now for the other side. So whilst we're at home, we're just going to swing the legs around. Obviously, we would do it differently in class. So making sure you've got your placement here on this arm, your diagonal lines on your legs, neck, just placing that nicely, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles all stacked. Lift, so drawing up on your pelvic floor, engaging the core, lifting your waist away. I'm going to here. So if you're ready to, we're into the hip hitch, so we're going to lift up, breath in, so you breathe out, hitch your hip up towards the ceiling and kiss that bottom hip down towards the floor, push up, kiss down towards the floor, push up. So staying here to take a few. So keeping your midsection stable all the way through. It's so good for these muscles around the side of the body. And remember, they do tend to be weak. We don't tend to use them. So it's really important for balance in the body that we are working to strengthen these muscles that are weak, to also stretch out the muscles that are tight. And we have already done a couple of good stretches this morning on the lats. So this one, your last one, push up. If you're ready, take the arm up over your head and slowly bring it down. Well done. So just take some time now to release. It's up to you whether you're standing, you're sitting, you're kneeling to take these releases, whatever works best for you. So back to your start position, and if you're ready to now, we'll go up into the half plank. So we're extending the leg. You start off here. It's an extended arm. Excuse me a sec, because my music's going to run out. So please bear with me. Take that back a few tracks. So please stay with what we've just been doing if that's challenging you enough. Otherwise, stretching out your legs, and hands are facing away from you, your fingers are facing away from you. Okay. So if you're ready to now, breath in, bring the top leg forward. So breath in as you breathe out, push up, come into this side plank, push right up with this arm, keep on lifting the waist away. That's it, aim to be a strong vertical line from fingertips on the lifted hand down to the supporting hand, keep lifting your waist away. Good, that on your last one, and slowly coming back down. Well done, everyone. How did you get on with that? Did you manage it? So do you feel ready to do that progressions? Can we start bringing it in regularly? That on your last one, releasing your arms. Well done. Please let me know how you got on. It really does help me to plan your sessions, and of course it will help me to plan for our first session back in 4 weeks' time. I can't wait. So yeah, I basically need to know where you're at. I've got a good idea actually for a few of you. If you come into Zoom, obviously I can see exactly what you're doing. So the guys that come into Zoom, I've got a very, very good idea of where you're up to. So it really does help me with just planning your classes. So we're going to come in now to lying down, so please just come into lying down. We're going to finish off today with abdominals, and we're going to take an ab curl today from the floor. If you're ready to, the feet are going to go on the ball. If not, you're placing your ball between your knees. So just roll the ball down to your feet and placing one foot onto the ball, imprinting your spine, other foot comes onto the ball. So as you know, just placing your feet onto that ball will be working your core. Hands now going behind your head. So remember, we're working your more superficial abdominals and we're working the core with your feet on the ball. If you haven't got your feet on the ball, you will just be working the superficial abs. You need to make sure that you're feeling it into the upper abdominals, just underneath the rib cage. So if you can't, please take your feet on the ball, focus on the height of the curl. Keep your hands behind your knees to really get the height. So lengthen up the crown, slight chin, draw up on your pelvic floor. Breath in as you breathe out, curling up, reaching forward, hands behind the backs, knees or the thighs. So really get the curl up as high as you can. So whether you're working with the feet on the floor or the feet on the ball, the first set is exactly the same. So breath in as you breathe out, stretching up your right leg. Breathe in to bend the knee, breathing out to change. So really trying to curl up a bit higher every time you curl up. Keep the space between the chin and the chest. So think about keeping a ripe peach underneath your chin. Make sure you're not jamming the chin down towards your chest. So if you're ready to move on from here, you roll the ball away with the other foot, extend the leg, bring it back. So what we're aiming to do there as you roll the ball away is to basically just get a little bit higher up in the curl. So yes, you are using momentum, some momentum. If you need a rest, please take one. Last progression coming up. We're going to stretch up both legs, bend the knees, bring the feet to the ball, breath in as you breathe out, stretch up both legs. So you touch the feet to the ball, you roll the ball away and extend the legs, touch the feet back, draw it in, roll the ball away and extend the legs. 4 more here if you can. This one, your last one, hold it, hold it, hold it. Try and draw the shoulders even closer to the feet. Like your last one, bend the knees, one hand behind your head, slowly rolling down, well done. So bring your feet to the ball and then just place one foot to the floor, roll the ball away, other foot to the floor, hugging the right knee into your side and the left heel away from you, well done everyone. Slide that left heel in, right foot to the floor, changing over, hugging the left knee inside and the right heel away. And your last one, sliding left heel in, right foot to the floor. And arms out wide to your sides. You've already taken your rotational stretch with the back of the hips stretching. Please just choose which side you bring your knees over to. Breath in as you breathe out. Bring your knees over to the side. Come into all fours. Checking your setup once you're there. So wrists under shoulders, your knees under your hips. And now tucking the toes under. Walking your hands to your knees. Pushing up onto your toes. Walking your hands to your toes. Pushing down through the heels, knees are bent, so just hanging to the floor. So checking out that you have got hip distance on your feet. Making sure you're working really hard on the abdominals. Breath in as you breathe out. Push your hips forward, push your knees forward. Slowly, slowly uncurl your spine. So coming back up to standing. And once you're there, just checking through your posture. So checking your shoulders are down, away from your ears. Have a look down at your feet. Check you haven't got your hip distance, toes are forwards. Remember the softness through the knees, switching on your core, chest stretch, arms behind you, back interlace the fingers. Keep the shoulders where they are, releasing your hands. Try and get really tall out from your crown, 2 more inches onto the height of your spine, and a few deep breaths with your arms. Taking a deep breath in, taking the arms up, and blowing out. And again, deep breath in. Blowing out. And last one, deep breath in. And blowing out. Thank you very much, everybody. Well done for today's session. Please let me know how you got on. It would be great to see you in Zoom this week. But if I don't see you in Zoom, have a great week. And I'll speak to you all soon. And don't forget, it's not long now until we're back in class. So I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.